Thank you, Juliet, and good morning to you all. So, during my time working with farmers around environmental management, I've seen many great examples of farmers getting stuck in to do what's right. But I've also seen divide in this industry. All too often, we hear and read phrases such as, "we need to collaborate more," or "we need to collaborate better." But what does this actually mean? What does effective primary industry collaboration look like for environmental gains? That is the question I've been asking myself and others over the last 12 months. So what does the question mean? What is effective collaboration? To me, it means communities working together and having a mutual understanding and respect. I know of a number of examples where kids have shifted schools because the debate of dairy versus sheep and beef or irrigation versus dryland has got into the school. Sports clubs dwindling because community members can no longer be in the same room together because of opposing views on nutrient allocation. Simply by getting groups and individuals into one room and to discuss the best way to manage a catchment or water body is not collaboration. If collaboration is done correctly, a more durable and effective relationship is established. Collaboration brings previously separate organisations into a new structure with full commitment to a common mission. Such relationships require comprehensive planning and well-defined structure. Risk is much greater because each member of the collaboration contributes its own resources and reputation. Resources are pooled or jointly secured, and products are shared. So let's fast forward to 2050, seems to be what everyone wants to do, and there are no farmers here in New Zealand. Instead, they are all food producers, working together in the same environment, at one with the environment because as an industry, we made a conscious decision to start working together for the benefit of all. Now, what I'm going to do is just run through with you some of my 4 recommendations to achieve this. So the first one is around having a united voice, as we've heard from a number of presentations already. The leaders of our primary industry need to set clear goals and have a joint vision on what we want to achieve for our environmental management. Now, this has been happening independently amongst our sector groups. Going forward, this needs to be done collectively for the good of all New Zealand. There needs to be a willingness for compromise, and the goals need to be smart, so specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound, that everyone is committed to. Transparency with all New Zealanders about the work that is undertaken to improve the environment, both good and bad, will help to authenticate our story, and being transparent will help to build trust. A good example that I saw of this while travelling was in Iowa with an organisation called Ag State. So Ag State was formed in 1997 and has representatives of farm and commodity organisations, agribusiness, state government and Iowa State University. They began to talk about the need for a long-range strategic plan for Iowa agriculture. They identified the need for pulling their resources together as different industries were facing similar challenges. Now, Iowa is the second-ranked state in the nation for production and exports, and is about 2/3 the size of New Zealand in both landmass and population. 90% of its land is used for farming and food production. The name Ag State was designed to help the public understand the purpose of the group. So Ag State is an acronym for Agricultural Strategic Thinkers Acting Together Effectively. So some of the key success factors of this group was there is mutual respect, understanding and trust. So the organisations involved want the best outcomes for all parties. There is an appropriate cross-sector of members so that all the land-based agricultural groups are included as well as the university. There is an ability to compromise so that organisations involved see the bigger picture of Iowa remaining strong and therefore prepared to compromise where needed. And they had created a clear shared vision together. Now, New Zealand is a small country And I believe to stay relevant in a global market, this has to happen. The second recommendation is around having the right type of people involved in the collaborative process. The right type of person involved is absolutely vital. The people we often have involved are the most knowledgeable or the most senior in the organisation. Now, this shouldn't always be the case. The right type of person is someone that can create a movement, has the ability to understand where others are coming from, and has the respect and mana of the people they represent. Now, there is no room for egos in the collaborative process. There needs to be a combination of influencers and information providers. It should first be established which organisations need to be involved, and then look to the people to ensure the diversity. Now, this figure here shows the 5 essential skills an individual involved in the collaborative process should have. A long-term successful relationship is unlikely without these 5 skills present. Often when we're pulling together a group, we think of the people first rather than the type of information and influences that is required. This diagram highlights the importance that a combination can bring. So an example of having the right type of people involved in the establishment was the establishment of LEAF UK, which is linking the environment and farming. So LEAF was formed in 1991 by a group of like-minded farmers who could see that a collective voice was better than working individually. They wanted to be showing consumers what they were achieving on farm. Now, they had a strong first chairman and a man called David Richardson. He was very inclusive, which forged the way for all people around the table to be open and honest. And then get action and move forward when work was needed. Furthermore, having some very good farmers speak in support of LEAF and go on to become their first demonstration farms added credibility. So some of the key success factors of LEAF has been a collaborative group that is seen as legitimate leaders in the community. So it was started by respected farmers. Once again, there was a mutual respect, understanding and trust amongst the farmers included, and the members could see that collaboration was in their self-interest. So they believed that being involved, they would benefit from this collaboration, and there was a shared vision created amongst them all. Collaboration is all about relationships. This shouldn't be an open invitation to sit at the table, and if we don't have the right type of people involved, it's simply never going to work. It requires a level of maturity by all individuals involved. Now, we're forever hearing about collaboration, and it's often interchanged with the word cooperation. So first of all, we actually need to establish, it needs to be established the best way to be working together. It needs to be established if collaboration, partnerships or cooperation is the best option. And if collaboration is actually not always necessary, but if collaboration is the best option, the process needs to be committed to. It takes time and energy. There needs to be trust and respect, and the time needs to be taken for the social capital to be built amongst the parties involved. If the foundation is not set and the time allowed to build the trust, the goal will never be achieved. Now, there are some key differences about the level of commitment and mutual understanding between each of these ways of working together. So collaboration brings previously separate organisations into a new structure with full commitment to a common mission, versus partnerships where there is a formal relationship and understanding of the common mission, but authority still rests with the individual organisations. And cooperation, which is an informal relationship that groups work alongside each other for a common goal. A good example I saw of this was at the Danish Agriculture and Food Council in Copenhagen, which was formed in 2009, and it represents the farming and food industry of Denmark, including businesses, trades and farmer associations. So due to the size of the individual organisations, it was identified the need to work together is a better way to spend money, talking as one voice, and to stay relevant on the global scale. The Council decides at different stages what is the best way to be working together on different projects and campaigns. So some of the key success factors for the Danish Agricultural and Food Council has been they have a history of collaboration or cooperation in the community. So Danish agriculture has a history of co-ops and working together. Once again, the members see collaboration as in their self-interest. And there has been established informal relationships and communication links. So one of the key things there was their CEO is actually an ex-member of Parliament and has good relationships within government. So it is important to determine the best way for groups to be working together from the onset. If this is not established, the outcome will not be achieved. The other one that was identified is around strong facilitation. So there needs to be a facilitator that can hold the difference of the group, yet move the group forward to make decisions. These facilitators need to be independent of the organisations involved in the collaborative process. Now, we've used a number of regional council employees to facilitate catchment discussions. They are the regulators and often involved in the discussion, therefore not independent. A really good example of strong facilitation was Grow Ontario Together in Canada. Now, Grow Ontario Together was formed in 2016. The collaboration includes producer organisations, Ontario Federation of Agriculture, and Thames River Phosphate Reduction Collaboration. There has been a key person involved in the formation of this group in Michael Keegan. So Michael had previously worked as a civil servant and then as a staff member in the Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs. He saw an opportunity for farmers to be more organised in relation to regulation. So due to his background, he knew that governments follow large groups of people and governments respond to movements, which then allows input and influence on decision making from that group. So one of the key success factors there was the favourable political and social climate. So the government had been influenced by NGOs in the past by them being organised, so they were favourable to groups that were organised. There was a development of clear rules and policy guidelines that Michael was able to implement, and there was open and frequent communication. And once again, there was a shared vision formed by all those members. So having a strong facilitator can help enable a community to achieve a robust outcome. The ability to facilitate is more important than knowing the content. So just to recap, those 4 recommendations is around having a united voice, having the right type of people involved in the collaborative process, actually establishing if it's collaboration, partnerships or cooperation that needs to happen, and having a strong facilitator. Whilst walking around Washington DC looking at President Roosevelt's memorial, this quote resonated with me. Men and nature must work hand in hand. The throwing out of balance of the resources of nature throws out of balance also the lives of men. Now, there are a number of you here in this room that are in a position to create a clear vision or be those types of people involved in the collaborative process. So my challenge to you all here, are we mature enough as an industry to start working together across the whole country for the good of our industry and our environment? If the answer is yes, and you left your ego at the door when you came in, please don't pick it up again, and let's make a conscious decision to start working together for the benefit of all. Thank you.